Alright, in this video I'm doing the outer tie rods on my 2013 Mazda 3. First thing I do is pop off that safety retaining clip that runs through the tie rods. Now Mazda quoted me about 300 bucks each to do this job, and I got the parts for 25 bucks each, give or take. So you could save easily $250 per side doing this. And I'm doing this one because the boot on the driver's side one is ripped. Obviously I've got the car jacked up. I have one axle stand under the side, and then I've got the wheel off. So not too much work was done in advance of this. And the next step is to remove the top nut. It is a 14 mil for the OEM part, and I do have some issues with the socket, and I go to a wrench, and just like everything on this Mazda, it's all rusted up. So I end up using a dead blow hammer on this side to remove it. On the other side, I think I use a full-on 3-pound sledge, but smacking the wrench with the dead blow is my new go-to move for this vehicle and the quantity of rust that's on it. Once you get that nut moving, it is pretty straightforward to take off, and obviously I let these things marinate with PB Blaster. Basically, I take the wheel off, hose them down with PB Blaster, and then while I'm getting my tools and stuff out, I start taking off all the parts. So again, 14 mil. Because I'm just throwing this one away, I don't really care too much about it. I could have just smacked it out with a hammer. I did throw that nut back on, and obviously I just hit it with the hammer and take it down that way. I really didn't need to put that nut back on. I could have just hit it with the hammer, or you could use something like a ball joint separator. There's different ways to get it off, and definitely if you want to keep your tie rod in good condition, smacking it with a hammer might not be the best choice. Now this compression nut is a 24 millimeter nut, and I do put the tie rod back on to loosen it up a little bit, and that just made it easier to get off. So on the next one I loosen that compression nut first, and then I count the number of rotations to take off this outer tie rod. It's about 22, and that compression nut really kind of marks the spot where it should be anyway, since I'm only doing the outer tie rod. But obviously you want to get it as close into the same position as possible so that you can take your car for an alignment without it being way out of whack. I found that once I was done this, it really didn't affect the steering in any way negatively. For these ones, I do have a grease fitting, so I got to screw that thing in, and it's a 7 mil, and this is a Moog part. I'll put the links for these parts in the description, and we'll put the links for all the tools in the description. So I do add a little bit of grease. I probably over grease this thing, and the grease that I'm using here is a product called Red and Tacky, and there's lots of different ones you can use, but obviously use something that is suitable for parts such as ball joints and tie rods. Now I'll screw the new outer tie rod onto the inner tie rod, and again, it's about 22 turns, and then it'll hit that end compression nut that is on the inner tie rod. At this point, I'll put this new castle nut on. Because this is a Moog part, it doesn't have the same size of a nut. It is a 17 mil, so I gotta switch wrenches. Not a big deal. Just something to keep in mind that you might need additional wrenches if you're getting parts from different brands. And the torque specification I'm using on this is 40 foot-pounds, though admittedly I don't have a service manual on this, so I am stealing other people's thoughts from online, so keep that in mind. I do tighten it a little bit more, so there's a safety pin to go in through the outer tie rod. Because the holes in the tie rod don't necessarily line up for where the castle nut is sitting, I do tighten the castle nut. So my recommendation would be, if the castle nut isn't correctly positioned, tighten it down a little bit more rather than loosen the castle nut. And then once that pin is in, I just take needle nose pliers and separate the ends so they wrap around the castle nut. Now tightening that compression nut, the inner tie rod is actually hexagonal, so it'll take a 17 mil wrench, and then that compression nut, again 24 mil, and I just tighten it up and snug it down. I do take the car in for an alignment, so I'm going to let the garage with the alignment machine make any of the fine-tuning adjustments once this job is done. Now the passenger side one was a little bit more finicky to get this compression nut going, so I did a little bit of tightening and loosening and tightening and loosening on the nut, and again 24 mil wrench. And I do use a hammer to hit the nut in, both directions, just so that it's loosened up and I can get that outer tie rod off without difficulty. I then take out the safety retaining clip. For the other one, I use a flathead screwdriver, and for this one, I use needle nose pliers. And then I found that this nut was really seized on there. Again, I sprayed everything down with PB Blaster, and once again, 14 mil. And instead of using the dead blow hammer, I just came in with an actual, I don't know, I think it's a 5 pound mallet, and just smack this wrench a few times. Like always, because this car's gotten so rusty, it does take a little bit of persuasion to get things like nuts and bolts moving. So once this nut is moving, it's not too bad, and I really don't need to do anything to get the tie rod separated, probably because I was smacking things with a hammer and it had already loosened it up. Once again, I count how many turns it takes to remove the outer tie rod, and in this instance, again, I think it's about a 22 turn process. Doesn't really matter, it's going to be specific for your vehicle anyway. I then take that Moog outer tie rod, put on that grease fitting, and tighten it down. And I believe it's a 7 millimeter that I'm using to tighten that grease fitting down. And just like the others, I probably over grease it, but I do remove some out the top. So just have some paper towel ready if you're getting a greasable tie rod. Working in reverse, once again, I do about 22 twists to get it back on, but because I didn't really move that compression nut other than just to loosen it up slightly, it pretty much lands on the exact same position anyway. So pretty straightforward. And then I insert the outer tie rod back into the steering knuckle. Once again, 17 mil on that Moog nut with the wrench, get it pretty tight. And then I come in and torque it down to actually 40 foot-pounds. If that nut spins, what you can do is insert something into where that safety clip goes and, go back to the wrench and tighten it down a little bit more that way. On this side as well, I do need to advance the nut slightly so that I can get that safety pin in. Once that safety pin's in, again, just take the needle nose pliers and then bend the arm so it doesn't come out and it goes around the nut. Last move, take a 17 and 24 millimeter wrench and tighten down that compression nut. And just one thing I didn't show, there's actually flat spots on the outer tie rod as well, so you can put a wrench on that and use that for your wrenching purposes if you need to. So you can tighten that compression nut that way. It's probably the better way to do it if I'm being honest. But again, it's just another option. As always, if you're going to do the tie rods, you do need to take your vehicle in and get an alignment done. And I indeed do that. But as I mentioned, I really didn't have any issues driving this vehicle to go get the alignment done. It actually drove really straight after doing this. Anyway, hopefully this helps somebody. Thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.